Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be making a very important one, which is about exclusive equipment up to plus 15 priority guide for all the heroes in the game. I'm going to begin by talking about the most important things. So for example, like it's not needed for you to watch the whole video. The most important thing in my opinion are going to be the top 2 heroes, which should be to plus 15 exclusive equipment on your account before every other hero. And those are going to be Lily May number 1 and Firesto number 2. And the reason I'm going to say this is, number 1, I think the most important thing in this game is to do well in Dream Realm. Because if you can score higher in the rankings of Dream Realm, you will earn more temporal essences. And then you'll be able to upgrade the exclusive equipment of other of your heroes. So like, if you can make the investment into Dream Realm heroes your first big investment, it is going to pay back to you in the long run. And then you're going to have plenty of temporal essences to give to your PvP heroes. Okay, so Lily May, number 1, because Lily May, and now, of course, you will not be able to get Lily May quickly, especially if you're an earlier game player starting now after a raid-up recruitment has ended. It will take you some time, but just make sure you have temporal essences saved up for her, that when you get her, you can take her as high as possible. Because the value of upgrading an exclusive equipment of a hero is not only for the skill that they unlock, a lot of it is also for the stats that they gain. And I found out that when you upgrade a hero from plus 10 to plus 15, it usually gives around 2.7 to 3% attack per upgrade level. So with 5 levels, that comes out to being like close to 14 to 15% attack just from those 5 levels. And then you will also unlock some upgraded version of your skill. So Lily May, before getting to Endless Dream Realm bosses, is used in almost all of the bosses. And in Endless bosses, she is the top damage dealer in 5 out of the 8 different bosses, the best in slot hero. And if you don't have, for example, the perfect team built up, you can use her in every single boss fight and she will be a good option. And that's why she's the most important priority to plus 15 on your account. You're gonna unlock like a minor upgrade to her attack boost for her growth stack. So that is why Lily May, in my opinion, is first one to plus 15. Second one, I say Firesto. Yes. And of course, it will take you a while to build these heroes. And for example, Rainier, you're still, in my opinion, the first hero you want to get to Mythic Plus out of the Celestial Hypogeans, and then begin building Firesto. So just think about how long it will take until you get Firesto like up to Supreme and able to get him to plus 15. But still, I think he should be your second one. For the other heroes, if you want to level up them, that's fine, but they should not be taken above plus 10 until Lily May and Firesto are both plus 15. Now, why Firesto? Is because, again, for the stats that he will gain. He does unlock a really important ability at the plus 15 upgrade, but it hardly helps in Dream Realm. You only really uses plus 15 exclusive equipment ability in the King Croaker boss of Dream Realm. And you can even run a team that isn't involving that. So that is not really the thing. It's about the stats. It really comes down to the stats you gain. For Firesto himself, I need to take a look at from my account to see what sort of stats he gains from his exclusive equipment, because he's a tank, so generally they don't gain as much attack. Like, yeah, they don't. Like 29% at plus 25, right? I mean, if we compare it to Lily May, she probably is going to be over 40. Over 40 with their exclusive equipment, or around about 40. But either way, the level ups are still going to increase his attack, just not as much as Lily May, but still, each bit of attack matters, because Firesto is a top tier, or is the top tier damage dealer for Endless mode of Dream Realm bosses, and in any season, at least 2.5 to 3 months of that season is going to be involving you battling the Endless version of the boss. And then Firesto is going to be, because he deals HP per second damage with his Vicious Sting ability. Yes. That is why he is just the top tier damage dealer. And so getting him to plus 15 is going to increase your damage output for those bosses, and that's why he is a priority. But he is second to Lily May. Lily May is the number 1 priority. And it's just sad, kind of, the fact that he doesn't gain as much attack from his exclusive equipment. Like, if he got 40% attack like Lily May got from her exclusive equipment up to plus 25, it would be even better. But even just whatever he gets, it is still good, and still a value to take him to plus 15. So those, in my opinion, are the top 2. And then after that, a lot of other heroes can be left at plus 10. But if I need to go for a number 3 option, again, is going to go back to the roots of Dream Realm. Who is another top tier damage dealer for Dream Realm needed? I think Taylene will be your next plus 15 hero. Again, she actually unlocks a pretty important upgrade when you take her to plus 15. Power of Renewal will reach a random number. When it reaches a maximum number of stacks, the carrier will be able to resurrect themselves on defeat. So that is value for like PvP. But not just about PvP, for Dream Realm, the stats that she will gain from it. I made a video just earlier today about how Taylene at Mythic Plus, with her plus 10 exclusive equipment, gained over 30% stats, combining like the exclusive equipment along with the Mythic Plus Ascension, then getting it to Supreme, and then plus 15 is going to give her an additional 20+% attack. And so basically, the exclusive equipment upgrade from plus 10 to plus 15 of Taylene is going to give her in total another 14% attack, which is big. That is going to make a difference in her ultimate damage for Dream Realm boss. And before getting to endless bosses, Taylene is one of the top tier damage dealer options, and she's going to help you so much. When you get to endless, which is the problem, she doesn't do as well, but she's still used in 2 of the top performing teams, which are King Croaker and Skyclops, and she will probably remain on top in those even in future seasons, so she still has value. So plus 15 on Taylene, in my opinion, number 3. Now we're going to talk about number 4. So the other Dream Realm boss heroes, it is Smokey. And like, you might be thinking, are you crazy to upgrade Smokey to plus 15 exclusive equipment? But it does make a difference. Like in endless bosses, it is going to give Smokey more attack. So what I've started doing with my Smokey is only at plus 12 right now, and it's not really for the skill upgrade. When you see the skill upgrade, you might be thinking, oh, it will cause a boss to lose 15% instead of 14%, that's why it's so good. That is not the case, because you're always going to be capped at 200% of your Smokey and Mirkir's attack, because an endless boss has infinite health. So obviously you're not going to do 15% of their max health each tick, you're going to be capped at the 200%, so the only advantage of upgrading his exclusive equipment is purely for the stats. That is the only advantage you get. But when we take a look at the stats that he gets from upgrade, he is gaining a lot of it, 2.6% attack, which is pretty high. Like, this is more than the tanks are gaining, and he's a support. So 2.6% attack per level, and if you can upgrade him 5 levels, that's going to be 13% bonus attack. He's going to be hitting harder, and in Dream Realm bosses, that is important. For endless bosses, when his blue aura deals a lot of damage. Before getting to endless, his blue aura does not deal a lot of damage, and so this plus 15 doesn't matter at all. But when you get to endless, this plus 15 is going to make a big difference, and it will set people apart. People who have plus 15 Smokey, plus 15 Fresto, plus 15 Lily May, these people are going to be on the top of the leaderboards of Dream Realm compared to the people who have plus 10 Smokey, plus 10 Fresto, and things like that. But it depends how much you want to optimize for it. But in my opinion, honestly, I would put Smokey number 4 after Taylene. Then number 5 for exclusive plus 15 exclusive equipment, honestly, I want to put Shakir. Because Shakir, again, he's in 3 of the top endless Dream Realm bosses. Before getting to endless, he's also a great option, and Shakir gets a pretty meaningful skill upgrade with his plus 15. Because when we take a look at it, my ordering has been wrong, by the way. Based from now my experience, I wouldn't have done it this way. But I went to Shakir to plus 15 before Smokey, and I think it should be the other way around. But anyway, so Shakir, you can cast ultimate upon reaching 700 energy instead of 800. That's a good skill upgrade. That's good for PvP. Allows him to cast faster, although it's bad when you're facing Lily May, unless you have something else to take the interruption. No, but actually it's even good against Lily May, because then when you recharge again the second round, you only need 700 energy to cast. It's also good for his stats. Like, when we take a look at the stats he gained from this upgrade, 36.5%, that's a lot. Now, Shakir doesn't deal that much damage. However, he does contribute a bit extra on top of your team. So if you can get into plus 15, of course, you will be out damaging a plus 10. And because he has a good skill upgrade, and he's pretty good as a PvP hero, I think he's a really good hero to be your, like, 5th option for plus 15 exclusive equipment. So basically, to recap it, is Lily May, then Freyasto, then Taylene, then Smokey, then Shakir. Those are the X plus 15 heroes. And now, you're going to notice I'm only focusing on Dream Realm, pretty much. Like, some have functionality in both, like Lily May, Freyasto, Taylene, Shakir are great in both. Smokey's not really good in PvP. But like, I'm not saying Scarlita next plus 15, Diurnal next plus 15, because these heroes should not even be being built on your account. I've changed my priority list. It's Rainier to Mythic Plus, then Freyasto to Supreme or Supreme Plus, and then Taylene to Supreme or Supreme Plus until you begin doing any other Celestial Hyper Gym, because that is optimizing for Dream Realm. Okay, so next up, who would I recommend for your next hero after Shakira? I would say Mikola. because again, Mikola is a top tier hero in Dream Realm bosses. She is using all of the best endgame teams for endless bosses, and she does have a meaningful skill upgrade with her plus 15. It will increase her combat fury damage from 60 to 70% of her attack per second. And also, of course, when you're getting that plus 15 upgrade, you will be increasing Mikola's attack. We can see how much by probably similar to an amount of Smokey. But the thing is, with her damage, it is not so high. Again, just like Shakira, just like Mikola, they both have low damage output because they're not dealing like HP per second damage or any form of true damage. It's just a slow burn damage. And like Shakira's basic, like a skill damage and normal attack damage. So it's not like a major damage source. However, if you want to optimize everything, and I do recommend it, plus 15 Mikola is the next one to do. And then and now we're going to move on to the PvP heroes, because after we've covered these heroes that we've mentioned, that covers basically all the different Dream Realm heroes. We can move on to PvP. The only one left is Odie. However, the thing with Odie is that he's never, like Odie, Merrily, Corrin, they've kind of bit in the dust after now new heroes have been released. Those heroes are never really optimal in team comps. For endless bosses, they're never the best in slot hero, so it's not good to waste your plus 15 on them, because plus 15 is an expensive investment. 200 temporal essences from plus 10 to plus 15. You need to use it on the heroes who are going to have the most longevity. And so it's not Odie, it's not Merrily, it's not Corrin. If you had to pick one of them, I would pick Odie. And Odie at plus 15, I don't think it's terrible because he's pretty good in PvP, and also before getting to endless bosses, he is good if you don't have Tailene yet. But the thing is, if you have Tailene, usually Tailene is out damaging Odie in all of them. But there are certain times where you're using Odie as well before getting to endless. But in endless, Odie has no place if you're talking about the top meta teams. So that's why I think Odie could be a regret. But I don't think he's a bad option. I think if you're going to choose another hero, like basically an A-level hero who we haven't chosen yet, Odie is going to be the one. Out of all of the A-level heroes here, I think really the most worthy of plus 15 is Odie, because he will help you in some extent in Dream Realm before getting to endless bosses. He can help you execute certain stages of bosses, and also he's decent in PvP. Now we're going to move on to the PvP heroes, because we've covered the Dream Realm. Like I mentioned with Corrin and Merrily, do not take... So Merrily can be to plus 10, Corrin to plus 8 just for the stats, because you gain like more bonus stat upgrades up from plus 5 to plus 8, but then from that point on, you're only getting the basic stat upgrades. Because basically Corrin doesn't need his skill upgrade, because just like we mentioned with Smokey, the skill upgrade is not going to affect it. It's just that you're still going to be capped at a percentage of your attack. So Corrin plus 8, Merrily plus 10, Odie potentially plus 15, but to be really optimal, I would say plus... I mean, you can do plus 15 if you want to optimize everything, but you can work on PvP instead of plus 15 Odie, but plus 10 is still good for him. So now that we've covered most of the Dream Realm applications, pretty much all of them, we're going to talk about the PvP heroes. So out of all of the PvP heroes here, I think the top priority, and after you build Tailene, I think the next hero you should be building is Scarlita, as of right now. If new Hypergene Celestial comes out, it might change the priority in the future, but for right now, Scarlita is it. And I would say her to plus 15 is the most important PvP investment, because the more stats you can get on Scarlita, the stronger she becomes. She will share like a percentage of her defenses to the ally who she's protecting in the early phase, and once she descends, she will knock off enemies who have an HP amount lower than 100%, 180% of her attack, which will be higher if you upgrade her exclusive equipment for the stats, and also HP ratio below 25% compared to 20%. And so like if we take a look at my Scarlita, the amount of stats she's gained from her exclusive equipment all the way then up to plus 25, but don't worry past plus 15. Basically plus 15 and beyond, you hardly gain any stats. So if you have the temporal essences, definitely go for it, but it's not like it's gonna make a big difference. Like even from plus 15 to plus 20 is only 2.5% attack boost for the whole 5 levels, so it's not a big deal. 41% attack, as you can see here, 31% defenses. Yeah, the crit and life drain, these are those additional bonus stats I talked about, like with Corrin. These additional stats are applied to everyone's exclusive equipment, but they cap out at plus 8 exclusive equipment. That's why sometimes people say leave a hero at plus 8. That means you just care about the stats, not really the skill upgrades. Okay, so that is my recommendation, Scarlita next. Then if you want to talk about other heroes, a lot of heroes will benefit from plus 15, but I'm going to talk about the other key big ones you want to get. Diurnal, if you build him, should be plus 15 because you want as much stats on him as possible. He's a nuker. Tassi, plus 15, because again, you want as much stats on her. She gets more haste after casting her ultimate. It is a good skill upgrade, and Tassi will thrive off of stats because she is a really strong PvP hero. Apart from that, Iron, I would not say plus 10 is good enough for Iron. He's mainly a support. Vala, it depends how much you use her. Honestly, plus 10 is enough to get her like healing after an enemy kill. You don't need to take her to plus 15, and I don't really recommend it because like she is not as top tier as the other heroes. Like Scarlett, Tassi, I think Scarlett is definitely higher tier, Daryl is definitely higher tier, and I do think Tassi is overall more overall better in PvP compared to Vala. But it's arguable. There are certain ways where Vala is better, but yeah. And now the other heroes here, I would say for S levels, leave them at plus 10. Apart from maybe if you want Carolina, she's helpful in AFK stages. She's fine in PvP. She's not actually top tier in PvP anymore. So I would say probably leave her at plus 10. The other heroes, Ludovic has one Dream On boss where he's top option, which is King Croaker. If you get him to plus 15, his damage output will be higher because he deals HP per second damage as well. So, but that's a really late consideration. I would say plus 10 is good enough for him. And then the other heroes here, I mean, maybe Sinbad is a plus 15 candidate because he gets a pretty big skill upgrade with that. But the thing is, right now, Sinbad is not really meta for anything. He's not meta in any Dream On bosses for Endless mode. Pre-Endless, he was a pretty decent option on certain bosses, but I don't feel like that's enough of a reason to warrant getting him to plus 15, but he does get a good skill upgrade with it. And for PvP, these buffs are noticeably better. Yeah, so I would say Sinbad is not a bad candidate for plus 15. Apart from that, Odie, we said, is a good option. Arden can be good for plus 15. He's pretty good in PvP with Iron teams, and he's also good in AFK stages, so getting him to plus 15 is good. Lenya, I think, is another good plus 15 candidate because I don't know if she gets like a minor skill damage boost from plus 15, but it's again about the stats. Lenya is a purely PvP hero pretty much, but decent use in Dream Realm, and maybe in the future game modes she will be more usable in PvE content. I do think there's a lot of potential for Lenya, and I think she was a pretty good option to take the plus 15 as well, but after Odie in my opinion. So hopefully that gave you guys an idea. All the other heroes I mentioned should be capped out at plus 10, or they should be left even at plus 5 or yeah, plus 8 for the stats. And I'm pretty sure I've covered most of the main ones. I'm sure there are certain things, like nuances that I have missed. Like, okay, you can, of course, your other Celestial Hypergene's Dunlinger, if you get him to plus 15, he will give a bigger haste boost to your ally. But, I mean, this is really minor, and this is a lot of investment you have to go for in him. So I don't think it's an efficient thing to do, but of course, that is a meaningful upgrade, the haste, 20 haste. And when we look at Burial, Silhouettes will gain more percentage stats of Burial, and if you're using him in PvP, you'll want him at plus 15. So like, these are heroes you would want to get to plus 15, but I think they come way down the line after we've covered all of the other heroes we mentioned. Yeah, I'm sure there are other like nuances here, and like if you're a real fan of certain characters, then you may want to take them to plus 15, but I think the other ones I mentioned so far up in this video are the most important to get there first, and after those are all covered at plus 15, then you can go and feel free to upgrade the other ones. But a lot of heroes can function fine at plus 10. So hopefully this was a helpful video. Like, I've wanted to make it for a while, but I wanted to, like, I didn't know exactly how to structure it. I didn't want to do it in a tier list format because I feel like there's a certain key, like there's a priority list, like it's a flow chart rather than a tier list. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section, or you can message me on Discord. My Discord server is linked in the description of all of my YouTube videos. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next one. And until then, everyone, peace out for now, and thank you for watching.